start on that one on the floor there. So this is going to France this one.
Oh right. What's your full name, Patrick?
Patrick Selman.
Patrick Selman.
Or Patrick Brady Marshall Selman.
Ah,
if you want the
there
whole
you
lot.
And you lived in Falmouth all your life?
40 years anyway. I came here in 1971 or 2, something like that. I'm not sure exactly what year. And I started sailmaking in 76. Got a book from the library and How to Make Your Sails by Bowker and Budd, and off I went. I had Ben's mother. We worked together.
Right.
And then 10 years later we split up.
And you like working on the traditional?
Yeah, I don't mind doing the odd Bermudan, but I'm not really into that. I can do it perfectly well, but I'm not that. My mind isn't in with those sort of people.
So I'm a sailor myself.
Yeah.
So no battens on a gaff rig sail?
No need.
No need. Is that because of the gaff at the top?
No, it's because of the cut of the sail. Some people can cut a sail that doesn't need battens, and other people can't.
Right.
It's as simple as that.
So you can just trim the camber.
I can trim. I can get an aerofoil in a traditional sail that'll stand with no support and stand for a long time as well. Although I do put battens in racing sails because you put them under such extreme stress and you need exactly a flat, easy to work sail.
So your boat, what's the name of your boat?
Moon.
Sorry?
Moon.
Moon?
Yes.
Any particular reason why?
Well, I used to joke it's called Moon because they can see our ass.
Oh, I like that. That's fantastic. And so gaff rigged, cutter, is it?
Yeah, gaff rig cutter.
And
1,000 square foot.
Right.
28 foot hull, roughly 8 tons. What else can I say? Yeah, very fast.
So it's a classer boat, is it?
Yes, it's the B class working boats, which is the bigger ones.
Right. And they're specific to Falmouth, are they?
Yes, it's a Falmouth boat.
Right.
They derive from key punts and oyster boats. Originally, the key punts really designated their design because of the speed of the key punts.
I've done them yet.
Sorry. My cup's hanging up, Ben. Yeah, the reason the key punts were so.
Who was a designer? Was it
well,
one designer?
Toms, and there's so many of them. I can't even remember all the names.
There's not one specific designer.
No,
it's a class of.
But they actually derive from the old racing cutters, from cows and stuff like that. The shape of the hull and the rig was derived from racing boats because they realised it was speedy, albeit that a cutter rig is ideal for dredging because you can change the sails around, drop the peak and all sorts of things to get the thing to go sideways, because you drift sideways when you're dredging.
Oh.
You don't sail, you drift. And you organise the drift by the way you put the gaff. If the gaff goes up, you go to windward. If you drop it, you go sideways. And the more up it goes, the more forward you go. So you can go down the coast and dredge right in close by keeping the boat from going ashore, by bringing the peak up to pull away from the shore and dropping it to pull to drop back in. So you can literally zigzag your way down a coastline, providing you get the wind in exactly the right order.
So obviously you could be helped by the tide, I guess.
You
hindered.
work it with the tide,
right.
The tide and the wind, because you can't. You can go against the tide as well, but it's according to what you're doing, and you have to go at a speed that'll pick the oysters up off the bottom. And you've got 4 dredges over the side, usually worked by 1 or 2 men. You bring them in 300 times a day, so it's quite hard work, and sometimes you get nothing.
Yeah, and these are natural beds, are they, or cultivated
they've been
beds?
there forever.
Right.
It's a natural oyster bed, although I believe they've introduced oysters that are not actually local or native. There are native oysters, but
the small ones.
but there's a lot of people now do these Pacific ones, the long, the horny ones.
Yeah, so it's got a reputation for it. So So you'd sail upwind,
Yes, and then
drop your dredge,
drop your dredges.
come a beam.
Well, you do that. You do that as you turn into the wind to drift away. You throw the dredges over, and then you set your rig to drift. You back the head sail so that the front of the boat is pushed off.
So you hove to
Yes,
with your head sail
that's
back,
right.
and your tiller right over to the other side to cancel it out.
To actually, you put your tiller to leeward,
Yeah.
so that's turning the boat into the wind.
Yeah.
And you've got a little tiny jib at the end of the bowsprit which holds the bow off so that the boat doesn't tack. It just holds it off. And then you all organise the sails, the staysail up or down, whichever you want, according to the wind strength. And then the peak up and down according to which direction you want to go.
Right, so you've basically stalled the boat.
You stall the boat.
Yeah.
Well, if you read Claude Worth, have you read Claude Worth?
No.
We left Falmouth and sailed for, I think he said 30 miles. Hove to and clean boat, had tea.
Yes. Correct me if I'm wrong. Would this be called a sail loft, is it?
Well, it's a garage, but it is a sail loft now.
Sail loft.
It was a garage once. It's called Water Lane's Garage.
Right.
And Mr. Water Lane, I always thought it was to do with the water down the lane, but it isn't. It's Mr. Water Lane.
Right.
And they used to have buses coming in one end, going out the other. It was about 100 yards long once, and used to go way down through. And they come in, and there were pits, and they work on the buses, and they go back out the other end.
So
And it's
that bit that you're sitting in, has that got a sort of sailmaker's name? Is it?
it's a sewing pit. That's all, really. It's so that you keep everything on the floor. Otherwise, you're going over a table. You see.
Right.
And when you've got a sail that's as big as some of those against the wall there, the one behind Ben is 800 square foot.
Right.
And it weighs about 100 weight and a half, as it is, something like that. And if you had that going over a table, you'd kill yourself. I mean, I get funny sides and aches and pains from literally sitting down here and pulling everything from one side all the time. So I've got a trapped nerve in my back which gives me pip all the time. So I need another sewing machine the other way round to work the other way. That's the answer, isn't it?
That was a big
Yeah.
isn't it? And the machine itself is obviously industrial.
It's a
strength.
Jensman long arm, multi-stitch. It does straight stitch, zigzag and triple zigzag. And it costs 12,900 quid.
Wow. And is the compressor part of it, is it?
That's right, yes. A lot of it. That's a puller.
It's called a what, sorry?
A puller.
Oh, right.
It pulls the cloth through to keep the stitch even
And that's pneumatic.
pneumatic, yes. And this is a gearbox up here. It changes the stitch, and well, it's got a motor that only operates when you put your foot on the pedal. It doesn't keep going all the time. It's unlike the old motors that were humming away, sending in nuts with a noise.
Right.
And makes life quite easy. I used to do it with little tiny machines like that one there that you can just see. And how the dickens I used to do what I do now with a little tiny machine, I don't know. Yeah, I did a criminal silly thing once. I put a sail down on an open hatch without thinking, and then stepped into the hatch and went down like a condor in a condor.
Right.
Yeah, that's the best place for you.
Damaged my ribs.
Right, yeah, not good.
And I had to sail the boat. I was the only one big enough and strong enough to do all the stuff on the boat coming across the channel, because we had a little tiny man and a woman, and I ended up killing myself all the way like you with your rib.
Yeah, I've had to keep working and all that. Business is booming, but my money isn't, my pocket money isn't. So you've got to work your arse off.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Ben's brother was with his boat in the Halford River in July, and the boat had fallen over, hadn't put it up properly, and the tide went out, and it fell over, and he was thrown across the boat inside, damaged his ribs. Anyway, he was in Halford, anchored, and he hadn't tied his dinghy up properly, and it floated away. So the first thing he did, like I have, and a lot of people have, dived over the side to get it. Broken rib, 7-degree water, he was dead in 8 minutes.